What is it? What? Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Rayleigh Bradshaw and I am currently writing a Western new adult fiction. And as you are watching this, I am up to my neck in beta reading preparations and sending out to beta readers and getting feedback in. Whew, and it is a lot. I have just been eating, sleeping, living, breathing my book nonstop, constantly, without a break. And I love it. I'm loving my book. And I'm really loving all of my beta readers, but I am just running to keep up with my beta readers. They're reading way faster than I anticipated that they would, and so when I'm not at work or sleeping, I'm working on my book constantly. So I wanted to do just a fun, kind of chill, relaxed tag video because it's been a long time since I've done a tag. And I was tagged by Emma at Emma Rosen Books to do the Authortube practice and theory tag. If you're not familiar with Emma, she is awesome. She's a mother. She lives in Kent. She's already published her first book, and she's also in a band, and she has honestly just the most relaxing, beautiful voice. I could just listen to her talk all day. So I'll link her channel down below as well as the creator of this tag. And without further ado, I'm just gonna jump right into it and make this kind of quick as I can. So the first question is, how do you normally start writing a poem? So I don't really write poetry. Every once in a while for fun, I'll create like silly little limericks, rhymey, cutesy, funny poems just to give to people for fun. Or like, for example, when I was in college, I had 4 roommates and it seemed like we were always going through the toilet paper really, really fast. And at one point it got to where we were using a box of Puffs instead of toilet paper because nobody could ever remember whose turn it was to buy the toilet paper. And so I just went out and bought like a huge pack of toilet paper from Costco and put it in our bathroom with a little bow on it like it was a gift. And I wrote a silly little poem that was like, "Puffs were meant to wipe your nose, not the end that never shows. So here's some paper for your bum. Don't just sit there and ho-hum, do your business and be done. Love the toilet paper fairy." And I put that on the toilet paper package and just left it in the bathroom, and my roommates thought it was funny. And they were like, "Who's the toilet paper fairy? Who did this?" So I like writing like silly little rhymes like that are dumb and just make people laugh. And how I start writing one of those is I just think of what it is that I want to say, and I think of words that I need to use, and then I just try to think of words that rhyme with those, and I make them fit, and you know, they're not good, so it's not that hard. But other than that, I've never written a serious poem. I can't believe that I actually remember that poem I wrote. This has been like, it's gotta be like 8 years ago now since I wrote that poem, but anyways, it's funny that I still remember it. Question number 2 is, how do you normally start writing a short story? And this is hard to say. It's been a really long time since I've actually written a short story. I would like to get into writing them more. I have several in my head that I just need to sit down and write. So as soon as I figure out how I start those, I will let you know. Question number 3 is, how do you start writing a novel? Ha ha ha. I'm a big plotter, so I really like to plot everything out for my novels. I want to say the first thing I do is like brainstorming, but actually the way things have been happening in recent years, I used to just sit down and just write from the first chapter. I would usually start with a character and a setting, and I would just sit down and start writing it and write through to the end and be done. Now I will come up with an idea in my head, and I've been just writing whatever scenes come to me or anything about the characters, and I keep them in a separate document. And then when it comes time to actually write that book, I sit down and I plot it out. I recently have been using the beat sheet from Save the Cat Writes a Novel, as a lot of people have. It's really popular because it's very helpful. It's very, very helpful. So I will plan things out that way, kind of beat by beat. I like to write my book in 4 parts. So I'll think of like part 1 and then all the beats that need to happen within that part and the arcs that I want to happen, and then in part 2 everything that I want to happen up until the end of the book. and I just kind of go that way. And then when I actually sit down and start writing, I start from the beginning. So I'll go to the first chapter and just start writing, and the first draft for me is just a lot of like bleh, word vomit. Just get it out on the page and then fix it later. So that's how I start. Question number 4 is, do you have a writing strategy? And I would say that's my strategy, is that I plot everything out first and then I sit down and write it. But aside from plotting, I guess my writing strategy is that I don't worry about the first draft sounding good. I just want to get it out there so that I have something to work with, and then I like to go through it and start moving scenes around as need be, or cutting things out. I'm an overwriter, so there's a lot of cutting going on right now. My strategy is pretty much just like word vomit and then make it sound good. Question number 5 is, do you compose on paper or on a computer? I definitely compose on a computer. I do have some scenes that I compose on paper, just depending on when it comes to me. I have a notebook that I try to keep in my purse at all times. I don't always have it there, but usually I'll have scenes come to me. If they come to me anywhere, they come to me while I'm sitting at work. And I have a notebook that I keep there on my desk at work. So whenever a scene comes to me and I just have to write it down, I will actually write it on paper as opposed to like opening Google Docs and typing it on Google Docs. I don't know why. I feel like when I'm at work, if I write something down by hand, it's okay, but for some reason if I pull up Google Docs and I'm like typing on Google Docs, I feel like I'm cheating somehow. Like, I'm at work, I should be working, not writing. But if it's just by hand, in my mind, it's like, oh, this is just a quick thing so I don't forget it. So I actually have several scenes that I've started drafting by hand at work for that reason. But aside from that, when I'm not at work and I am free to write as I please, I compose on the computer. Okay, question number 6 is, you are allowed to claim one work of fiction as your own. What is it? It's my book, obviously. I thought about this question a lot, and I was like, that's lame to say my own book. I should think of another book. And yeah, there are books like Strange the Dreamer is one that I think the writing is beautiful, the characters are incredible, the story is wonderfully told, that it's like, wow, I would love to be able to write something like that. Whew. Just got really cold in here suddenly, so I had to put on a sweater. Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying, there are books that I read that I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I would love to be able to write something like this, but I would never, I'm not even tempted by the idea of claiming the work of somebody else as my own. And I know this is just like a for fun kind of question. Like, of course, none of us would ever do that. But I don't even, in my mind, I'm like, I'm really, really proud of my book, and to be able to claim that as my own is like, I just want it to be a book so that I can say, I wrote this book, because I'm really proud of it. Even with all of its flaws and imperfections, I'm really, really proud of the book that I have written, and I can't wait for it to actually be a book so that I can claim that I wrote it. Yeah. But as far as books go that I really admire and would love to be able to, you know, learn some of them writing skills, Strange the Dreamer was a beautiful book. Say that one. Question number 7 is, do you set goals, and how? I definitely set goals. I will link my latest goal setting video in the cards up above. The cards? In the cards up above. This year I'm trying something new in that I have set quarterly goals for myself, and then I just try to complete them within the quarter and then set new goals, as opposed to having goals for the whole year. And then I try to set daily goals as well, just when I wake up in the morning. When I'm being good, sometimes I'll write down in a little notebook that I keep by my bed the things that I want to get done that day, and if I don't get them done that day, then I will move them over to the next day and try to get them done that way. That's when I'm being good. I don't always do that. In fact, lately I've been really bad about it and just rolling out of bed and be like, oh, it's time to go to work, and run to work. But yes, I do try to set goals. Question number 8 is, boom, you just won the Nobel in Literature. What is it that got you the award? Probably something that I haven't written yet. I'd like to say, oh, it's my novel, Untamable, that I'm writing right now. But as much as I love that book that I'm writing right now, I would be appalled if that's all it took to win the Nobel. So I'm going to say something that I have not yet written that will come when I'm at the ripe old age of, I don't know. Something that I haven't even yet thought of, but it's gonna be real good. Question number 9 is, boom, you are a Nobel winning millionaire. Where do you live and what do you drive? I live in the Pacific Northwest close to my family, and I probably live in just a comfortable house. Probably keep driving the car I have now, my Kia Soul, that I really love. And then I put the rest of that money away in savings so that I can retire and just write all the time. That's what I would do. And then lastly is question number 10. Boom! You are a writer in heaven. There are 5 writers in your writers group. Who are they and why? So I've actually put a lot of thought into this question. Like, any writers in heaven? 5 of them. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dang it, I have 6! I wrote it down on this piece of paper, but dang it, I've got 6 of them. So I'm going to have to cut somebody out of this writers group. That is quite difficult. Okay, so these are the ones that I wrote down. Oh gosh, it's just hard to narrow it down to 5. So I've got George Eliot, Jane Austen, Lucy Maud Montgomery, C.S. Lewis, Louisa May Alcott, and Hemingway. So, gosh, it's so hard to cut all those out. I know the one that probably fits in with this group the least would be Hemingway, so he would probably opt out of our writing group. But I want him there because I want him to keep us all grounded and be like, no, come on, cut out those unnecessary words, let's keep this pithy here, you know, no nonsense. And I feel like that would be needed in this writers group because we've got some wordy writers here, including myself. I'm an overwriter. So I'd want George Eliot just because I am fascinated by her. I think she's really awesome. Silas Marner is just one of the most beautiful. So I would want George Eliot in the writing group to help me get like the emotions right and to really draw out of me those just raw feelings. I feel like she would help me to create more depth to my story and the characters' backgrounds, and so that's why I'd want George Eliot, and then also just awesome. Jane Austen I would want in the group for the sake of humor and taking like heavy topics and making them somehow lighter and not too dark. Lucy Maud Montgomery because I'm a huge Anne of Green Gables fan and I just love, I don't know, I just love her writing. I love the like quirkiness of her characters and the warmth that she brings to writing. I'd want to like learn that warmth from her, and I would want her to like help me pull that out of my own writing. C.S. Lewis to make things deep and like make me think about things. Yeah, his writing always just makes me think deeply, and so I would want him in the group to help me think deeply about things and to kind of help me with like the symbolism in my stories. Louisa May Alcott because I mean she wrote Little Women, which is my favorite book of all time, so I feel like I'd have to have her there. Because I feel like she kind of does a lot of those things that these other writers do. So, gosh, and then Hemingway. I can't decide which one to take from this. So I would invite all 6 of these people to my writing group, and then I would just let whoever doesn't want to be there opt out, which would probably be Hemingway because he'd be like, I don't want to be here. And I'd be like, but we need you! And he'd be like, no. And he would leave. So I guess that would leave me with 5. Yeah. Alright, that's it. Woo! Done with that one. That concludes this tag. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. And, oh yes, I'm going to tag people. I actually don't even know. I've seen a lot of people do this tag, and I don't know who's done it and who hasn't. I know, I hate to be that person that's just like, anybody can do this tag, just go ahead and do it. Like, I know it's more fun when I actually tag people, and it's more exciting to be tagged in a video. But I did not prepare anybody to tag, and I feel like I often tag the same people over and over again because I'm like, well, they're my friends. So I'm just gonna say, if you want to do this tag, no, I should tag somebody. Come on, Rayleigh, just tag somebody. I'm going to tag Peggy Spencer and Amara Franklin and Novelly KJ to do this tag. So if any of you guys want to do this tag, awesome. If you don't have time, that's okay. And then if anybody watching really wants to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged by me. Please go ahead and do it, and then just let me know down below that you've done it, and I would love to watch. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!
Rayleigh, would you come and take a walk with me? We'll cross over the mountains, and we'll reach the pale blue sea. I love you, I'm so glad you love me too, and I wrote this song for you.